Wow, this one as advertised. LeBron James, we're tied! LBJ! He splits the double, he's fouled, and it goes! Jalen Brunson and one! Put another 5 on the clock. Doncic over time. Oh my! Luka Doncic! Los Angeles Lakers have won their 8th straight. 12-2 since the arrival of Luka Doncic. What a run the Lakers are on.
Had an encore or a second act in Hollywood last night. I'm big on theater terms, but speak the speech, I pray you. Lakers and Knicks went to OT last night. A production of The King and I, perhaps. LeBron and Luka, just too much. Pair of 30-point double-doubles. LeBron, 31 points, 12 boards. Luka, 32 points, 12 dimes. Lakers coming from 10 down in the fourth to win their 8th straight. NBA front office insider Bobby Marks was in the building for this one. Joins us on SportsCenter. Bobby, you just saw this Lakers team up close. Do you view LA as one of the top tier teams in the league?
I don't. Not right now. They're not in my tier 1, which is Boston, Cleveland, and certainly Oklahoma City here. And I think they're going to get a measuring stick game, Randy, on Saturday night against the Celtics here. And here's why. This Lakers defense that has been first in defensive efficiency since the end of January, they give up a ton of threes, and they're doing it on purpose here. Opponents are shooting 31% from deep. That is a league best as far as from a defensive percentage here. And what do the Celtics do? They shoot a ton of threes, and they make a ton of threes. So we're going to see what happens on Saturday night when those two kind of styles contrast there.
Styles make fights, Lakers and Celtics. It is tomorrow night in Boston. That's an expensive ticket, believe me.
Yeah, it is.
One of us is looking for tickets. Bobby, stay right there. Let's get to the Warriors, and they were taking on the Nets.
So they can get by with sort of smaller type lineups, and they really got into the Knicks to an extent that it bothered them tremendously in their ability to run their half-court offense.
And I think that has to be the goal for the Lakers, because the Lakers can be great in transition. They pick their spots. I mean, Luka to LeBron right now, especially in transition, is like a storyline. That's maybe the best transition duo in the NBA. But they can get the obvious transition ones. Like they know, okay, we got to stop everybody. There's a run out, whatever. But they are so good in the half court that they don't necessarily need an up and down game. There's some teams they want to create chaos. They want this just to be chaos for as much as it can. They'll take advantage of their fast breaks. They're elite at it. But you slow them down the half court, they're happy to do it. And I think that's why their identity is play defense, be a great defensive team, be versatile, everybody's flying around. You got length all over the court. Be versatile, because if this is a half court game, we're going to win. And if it's an up and down game, we want to dictate when and how often it is.
Now, it's funny because you remember all the talk about the Lakers was, especially after the trading deadline, well, how are you going to play now with no bigs?
Right.
Turns out Jackson Hayes is exactly the kind of guy that Luka likes playing with.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. And can make 5 times better than what he actually is.
Exactly.
Athletic.
That's my point. So, they went out there. They had the trade rescinded. They were going to get bigger there. That didn't work out. I'm not sure that J.J. Redick was all that upset about that.
Yeah.
I felt like, number one, I think he liked to connect, and I think that he didn't think they needed more bigs.
Right.
And so Jackson Hayes spent some time injured earlier in the year, and I think when you watch him play, he's got a lot of energy. He is a guy that you don't have to run anything for ever, but he's a great late lob threat for Luka, and that's what Luka has had since he's been in Dallas. And so to me, he fits what they want to do offensively. So are they big enough? I mean, we were worried about them playing against the bigger teams. Denver being one of those teams. You saw what they did to Jokic, came up with a great defensive game plan against him, really took him out of that game. That sort of triggered all this talk about the Lakers defense. And ever since then, it's been really kind of elite every single night playing with this lineup. One center. Sometimes they go smaller. Jemison's been getting some minutes. He actually played okay last night. He's a pretty physical guy. But their forwards make up for a lot of that. Dorian Finney-Smith, Vanderbilt, LeBron. These guys are big guys. Hachimura, they can guard in the post, and they're fast enough on the perimeter that they can do a pretty good job on elite guards. So their defense has been very impressive.
When you have a smaller team, and again, they have Jackson Hayes, but they use him in a specific way offensively, and then defensively they have this versatility and speed and strength. They get really physical with their big, defensively against opponents' big. So, all right, we can maybe mitigate our undersizedness by being extra physical. And then on offense, we saw it last night. Karl-Anthony Towns did not have a good game. And part of the reason why is when he was on the court, Luka Doncic said, "Where's Karl-Anthony Towns? Come guard me." And now all of a sudden, You want to, if you're big, you know you're vulnerable on the perimeter, but you can punish them inside. The Lakers are taking away that punish them inside part of it, but they're exploiting the bring them outside on the perimeter part right now. And they did it against Denver, and they did it against the Knicks last night.
It's the truth, man. If you're gonna get cooked on one end with your bigs being targeted on ball screen, you got to get them back at the other end.
Yeah.
Did you really notice Karl Anthony Towns much in that game at all?
Nope.
On the offensive side of the court?
Non-factor.
Just literally didn't notice him. And like, he's had a great year. Not taking anything away from the numbers he's put up and the impact he's had on this team. I think it was an upgrade over Julius Randle. But these are the kind of moments, particularly, Brunson's off the floor. That's supposed to be the guy now you can run stuff through. He wasn't even getting shots.
Yeah.
He was bottled up. And so they've got a formula now that they're very confident in. When they do deal with talented bigs and guys that can put up numbers that are 6'10" and up, they think they've got a defensive game plan to deal with those guys and the amount of traffic that they're making them play in, while on the other end exploiting them out on the perimeter. So they're winning that battle most nights now, the Lakers.
Yeah. Another reason I think people, and I think a lot of people are buying the Lakers right now. They've been winning. They're looking really good. But one reason I'm buying them, as their upside here, the playoffs often, how you perform in the clutch, to me, is indicative of how you're going to perform in the playoffs in a lot of ways, because that's where the game gets really tight. Execution becomes important. You watch the Lakers even last night against the very, there's defensive capability out on that Knicks team. They get what they want, because when you have Luka on your team and you have LeBron on your team, you're going to get the shots that you want. And so there's not chaotic possessions in the clutch for that team. And so when I watched him last night, and I'll be honest, if Brunson doesn't go down, I wish we could have seen how that game, because it was such a good game. When he went down, you're like, what is the Knicks going to get out of this? But when I watch him execute in the fourth quarter in the clutch, I go, those are the shots they'll live with. They might lose game, miss shots, whatever, but they're going to live with those ones, and they can get them easily. They're not working that hard to get the shots that they want.
I've been fascinated with how easily LeBron James has adapted to understanding it's just going to be Luka's time for stretches of games.
Yeah.
And like where Luka will come up the court, it gets a little more pressure at half court, whatever it may be. I saw him last night, I don't know, half a dozen times. Swing the ball to LeBron. It almost looked like Luka was kind of saying, like, here, take it, man. Like, you go. And then LeBron would catch it. He'd wait for Luka to like sort of pop back and create space and go right back to him.
Yeah.
And like LeBron's like, no, we're going to operate here because this guy's going to create great shots for all of us, him included.
Right.
And I thought that would be a little bit harder to figure out. Look, Luka didn't have, it's weird because he didn't have a great game. He had great numbers. I mean, if you just looked at the raw numbers, 32, 7 boards, 12 assists, and 4 steals.
Yeah.
He's 9 for 23 from the field. He had, 5 turnovers, I believe. 5 turnovers, 5 fouls. Had some defensive possessions where it was like not good. He really didn't shoot the ball well most of the night, but he was so good late.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing about Luka. He's not fazed by what kind of night he's had at all in terms of it's winning time, 1 possession game, 4 minutes to go. It's my game.
Yeah.
And you saw it again on display last night.
What's funny is their numbers are almost identical. 32, 7, and 12 for Luka, 31, 12, and 8 for LeBron. Like just points, rebounds swapped. Almost everything else exactly the same. And that's kind of what you can expect from these two. And I'm with you. I don't know if LeBron plays like this. If this happened 4 years prior, 2021 or 2020 or 2021, do you think LeBron would take as much of a backseat? And it's not like he's taking a backseat. He's very involved. Right. But get the ball out of his hands as much. I almost wonder if this is just... he knows the moment in time he's in. Yes, I'm still dominant, but we got him, so I'm just going to set him up.
Yeah, look, LeBron came out and said it. Like, Luka was his favorite player in the league. I believe him.
Yeah.
Luka's that dynamic offensively that LeBron gets it. Like, Luka Doncic can physically break down a defense really unlike any other player in the NBA. And I think LeBron understands that. As great as LeBron is, like, you're pretty certain Luka might miss shots. He might turn the ball over, but he's not really affected by what you're doing to him defensively. He's not affected by